decided to put that separate to my map tools.
So did anything else happen with Roldar except the daily power? He get more HP, I guess.
Oh, I can do that part. It was just I don't know how to introduce the power.
Alright. Then I should give the Roldar token the power. Is it Rain of Steel?
Yes.
Very well.
Should I drop myself next to Roldar?
This assumes that some of the party at least starts at the at the Rusted Dragon. You can, of course, be anywhere you want.
There, my new token.
Hello.
Oh, and happy with my new defenses.
Fantastic. Where's my separate room at, Harlot? I mean, TM. Where is it?
Excuse me? Sir? You now sleep out in the streets.
Well, that's fine. I don't want to be a part of this campaign anyway.
Well, thank God, good riddance. Let's see, a separate room, you say?
That's right. Here we go. Separate room out here in the black.
Sleep in the void.
Right. Ironrick, where are you at? There we go. Well, he definitely needs to sleep in the void. If anyone dares to approach the entrance to his room, they will hear the screaming before they open the door and see. That is Saloro Soreasu's new guardian. To overwatch him while he rests.
What's this weird thing, outside the door? Something's going on in the stables. I'm not quite sure.
Goblins? Nah. Right. He keeps going. He must have quite a lung full of air.
Let's see here.
Should someone do something?
It's an infernal racket, It's been going on for days now.
Really, we're just inundated to it by this point. We're totally fine, right? Right.
Let's see, minor. It has an effect line. Alright, that should do it for Roldar.
Yay!
Let's try that out, why don't we? Rain of Steel.
Rain of Steel.
Steel made out of rain. Rainy steel.
Roldar's new
Crunch.
single.
I'll make sure that I edit in what stance I am in with Goliath Fighter in brackets so it's able to tell, but...
Alright, fantastic.
Oh my god, it's raining steel. Jesus, what do we do?
Don't go outside, kids. It's bad up there.
Raining steel, that would be pretty damn hot, wouldn't it?
They found, actually, I read some of NASA's scientists actually found an exoplanet where basically it rained glass all the time. It's like, oof, vertically, isn't like 40 miles an hour, just glass rain.
Yeah, molten glass.
It's like,
Isn't Venus got molten rain as well? Like, it's got sulfur snow.
you don't want to go there.
It's time to separate the steel from the dross. Good luck outside. Fuck.
Jeez.
Because the former is everywhere.
Yep, basically it's flensed when you go out to get your morning paper. Alright. Welcome to chapter 2, I guess. And chapter 2.
Was there a recap that needed to be done, or did people want to share the actions of their characters over the week?
That is where I suggest we start before things kick into motion here. So, what have your characters been doing for the last week? What would the rest of the party sort of know of your characters' comings and goings the last week?
Well,
Why don't we with...
Go ahead. I don't start. The leader should start.
Alright,
Okay.
let's go with Erevan the Spider.
Yeah.
Okay, Erevan, after returning, just seemed to have generally just gone round. He went, would have noticed him go to the market and do a lot of patrolling. You would also noticed he would have done quite a lot of training with Roldar, including combat training, endurance training, etc. over the span of a few days while doing patrols as well. Then other than that, so whereabouts, and most people wouldn't really know much of where he went. You know, he'll go to the cathedral a bit, and he spoke with Arenoss for a while.
He can share, of course.
He could, though he doesn't see a need to describe every bit of his life.
Very well.
To follow up on with Roldar, I guess, as well as the sparring, lots and lots of intense sparring with Erevan, Roldar has been endeavouring to strengthen himself even more by scaling the cliffs and deciding to go on a bit of an endurance challenge by running and jumping over the rooftops in primarily ways to toughen himself up. He's still a bit confused how things several feet smaller than him can overpower him. It doesn't work, but it somehow is. So he's been trying that. Also, just one thing, Jonas, are those boots all right to get? They're within the level requirements?
Yes.
Cool. He's got new booties.
Hooray!
Borrow it, yeah.
Everyone is happy because of Roldar's new booty. I mean, what?
just singular. It's just one, apparently. He's claiming that cliff. One of them disappeared somewhere. Okay, and that's what Roldar's done.
Okay.
Arenoss. Someone.
All right.
Someone.
Arenoss hasn't really done that much important stuff. He has gone around town doing a bit of shopping, looking around for interesting items, and done some fishing, and basically nothing important except he talked to Erevan a bit and bought some stuff, and spent the night out drinking and talked to a bunch of people.
Of course, the fucking sorcerer didn't do anything important.
Nope.
And Alvyn has spent quite a bit of time going around shopping as well. He didn't quite feel as prepared as he wanted to be when fighting goblins and demons, so he took a look around and bought whatever seemed useful, which is strange because he usually is quite conservative with his budget. And he also spent a lot of money in various taverns, or tried to at least, but apparently everyone knows that he is a hero and decides to buy the alcohol for him. And he was just around and had some fun and bought some stuff. And now he's back.
As for Saloro, well, DM, you think Saloro had an active week?
Saloro had a lot on his plate, let's say.
That's right. He spent more time outside of Sandpoint than he did within it. He's only been within the hamlet for the past 2 days, which is the only time really any of the player characters could have seen him, at least interacted with him a lot. Regards to what they would have known, obviously Soloro did what he wanted to do, which was spending a lot of time at Thistletop and the catacombs beneath it, and for a significant chunk of that time, he had Shalelu and Usana, Headmaster Ilsawari Gandathis, Sable Sorn, and the sage Brodart Quink there with him at Thistletop as well. Doing all sorts of things that would blow past everyone's feeble little brain.
As always.
That's right. So there may also be legends and stories about that, about Saloro bringing like a magic floating disc piled yay high with fragments of walls, journals, scripture, chest sacks, rucksacks, backpacks, another fragment of a ceiling, and Brodart Quink nearly having a heart attack as he squealed for joy.
Yes.
Alright.
By the way, Grimith, you sound really different.
Well,
New microphone, I guess?
that's because it was European Celebration Day.
Ah.
I've only been up for 10 hours, come on.
Well, fantastic. Everyone has done a little bit of this and that during the week, and the Vanguard is at some point on the 8th day's morning, gathered, or at least close by, the Rusty Dragon, having a bit of a sort of talk with each other, when suddenly the good old Sheriff Hemlock burst in through the door. He seems quite upset, and he sort of starts shouting something, but then sees the party and makes a direct beeline for him, basically. He comes up, he looks, yes, quite beside himself. Oh, there you are. He takes a deep breath. I'm sorry, I'm a bit out of breath, not as in good shape as I thought I was, I suppose. Well, it's good to see you. He looks around at the rest of the patrons here. Perhaps we should discuss this a bit more privately. He
All right.
throws a look at Ameka, who says, "Oh, you can use the room over there." And she points to the small sort of gathering room next to where the party is. The sheriff nods, walks over there, and basically opens the door and goes inside.
So what's the matter, Sheriff?
The matter before us is, well, Sheriff Hemlock sort of scratches his head. I am, well, let me start here. First, if I haven't said to all of you, I must thank you all again for what you've done for Sandpoint. It is fortunate that you have proven yourselves so capable, because, as I said, we have somewhat of another situation on our hands here. I hope you can help us with it. He looks around again. I wish I didn't have to involve anyone with it, but this needs to be dealt with before the situation gets worse. He looks around, sees Saloro entering the room, nods to him.
So, drawn by the ruckus and commotion that a running, panting sheriff would have caused, and, sort of packed up his things, retired his new protection, walked in, could hear him booming from inside the private room, was like, comes in, nods, stands there.
The sheriff nods. Well, you all, of course, know of the late unpleasantness. Some of you researched that topic quite thoroughly, I seem to recall. Among these were, well, Chopper and his slayings that went unanswered in town. It almost drove the town to tear itself apart in fear and panic. And I'm afraid that we might have something similar brewing now. Looks about.
Oh.
Last night, someone struck at the Sandpoint Sawmill. There were 2 victims, and they're in pretty gruesome shape, I must say. He sort of scratches his head again. The bodies were discovered by one of the mill's workers, a man named Ebor Thorn. And by the time my men and I arrived on the scene, a crowd of curious gawkers have already sprung up. I have got my men stationed there now, keeping the mills locked down. But the thing that bothers me isn't really the fact that we have 2 dead bodies inside the mill. It's the fact that this is actually the second set of murders that have happened in the last few days.
Oh.
Some of you may know that I was out of town for a few days during the week. He nods, yes. Something that was thought of as a family dispute out in one of the outlying farms turned out to be something quite worse. So I come to you for help in this matter. My men are good, but they are also very green. You saw them against the goblins. They could barely handle themselves at all, and whatever we're facing now, I feel we might need all the help we can get, actually. He looks around the table. And perhaps the most curious thing of all, so far at least, is this. And he dips inside his coat pocket and puts down a small folded piece of paper. Outside the folded piece of paper is the name Erevan, typed out in red. He points out this was found at the scene of the murder.
Erevan will look extremely curious.
I don't suppose you know anyone else named Erevan, do you, Sheriff?
The sheriff shakes his head. No, there is no one else in town by that name. He looks down at the folded paper. Well, you can read it if you want.
Erevan will carefully open up the piece of paper.
Will peer over the Eladrin's shoulder.
All right. Folding up the paper, the following can be read.
Your lordship?
Since Erevan won't end up reading it aloud, Saloro will. We have spoken of this before, my master. Now it begins. Join the pack, and it will end.
Sheriff Hemlock looks very intensely scrutinizing Erevan.
Erevan's not even any pay attention to the sheriff. He's kind of like just got a really confused face on his face right now, just like trying to. You can very much tell if anyone's looking at his eyes, you'll notice very much his memories are in like him like searching through them almost. It looks like trying to work out what this could be.
Do you have any idea what this is, Erevan?
Erevan just shakes his head. I can't think of. No idea. Though it's worrying.
From someone from your past who either seriously or perhaps even may have misinterpreted your relationship, Erevan. Can you think of anyone who would be so... Soloro frowns behind the veil and furrows his brows. I don't know. Deranged? Soloro shrugs, because we have met many deranged individuals, and... yeah, the one guy, yeah.
Hemlock looks at Erevan and says, you have told before that you were a soldier and that you fought for many different masters. Is this someone out for revenge?
Depends. If this was addressed at me, then your lordship, I could not think of anyone that would apply to. If that was something intercepted for me, well, it could be a number of people. If it's someone hating for my ex-employment, though I haven't been employed for at least employed for decades.
An important question, DM. Is the handwriting of Erevan's name on the fold the same as the handwriting within?
Yes.
In that case, it would be from the same individual and not an intercepted message.
Which makes Erevan even more confused, because no one would address Erevan as your lordship. At least anyone he can think of.
Please saying that you're the lordship, it would be how someone ends a letter at the end with some sort of final parting words to inform you of who it's from. In which case, perhaps someone who could be interpreted as a lordship?
The sheriff nods. You can keep the note. I have made a copy of it for the records. If I could impose of you to come with me to the sawmill, as I said, we have it surrounded for now, but the crime scene. He grits his teeth. It's quite gruesome, and I would rather clean it up as soon as possible.
Looks like whether this ends up being a personal affair or not, Erevan, the individual in question knew what activities to engage in that would attract the utmost attention.
Sheriff Hemlock snores, I'll say.
Well, my good nature isn't very difficult to normally, discover. We might as well search then.
Soloro looks around and shrugs, standing behind Erevan and Alvyn. I will most certainly come along, Sheriff.
Not so. Thank you.
Everyone just look over at Roldar and Arenoss.
Of course.
Roldar nods.
Sheriff gets up and starts walking out. Well, follow me then, if you please. Leads
Erevan raises from his seat. Now, if MapTool's actually let me move my character, for some reason it's not letting me, keep opening up the dialogue box to edit token instead.
Maybe you have edit mode on.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Also fan.
Yeah, it's like you double clicked on it and open up properties instead. That was happening, which was strange.
Alright. It is not far. From the tavern, as it were, the Sawmill is here on the map. And when the party gets closer to the Sawmill, it is basically as the good sheriff described. A ring of onlookers have gathered around it, and a lot of the city guard seems to be surrounding it as well, sort of keeping them at bay. Many... Oh, jeez. That is a lot of fan noise.
Yep.
They're looking very curious when the vanguard shows up. Sheriff sort of waves at the guards who step aside and lets the party go inside. Let's see here.
And the fan noise has been replaced by frantic typing.
Yep.
Grimith's mic is extremely sensitive.
It really is powerful. I'm still trying to get used to it after a week. I'm like, fuck it, I can't run my air conditioner in summer. Fucking I'm not mute my microphone. I'm like, typing down notes.
Sounds like an earthquake. Anyway, the mill itself is one of the most industrious ones in Sandpoint. You know that much. It produces timber and planks and things like that from wood cutters in the forest. And when you sort of get close and sort of go up to the door, Sheriff Hemlock sort of walks up, takes a look at you, sort of glances in the door and says, "Well, you are free to go inside, but I must warn you, it's quite bad."
Rather than going inside, Saloro gives the onlookers a rather derisive snort, rides over to them while on top of Heinrich, and as he prepared this for the day, begins to launch into this crazy random sort of bullshit about arcane esoteria to get them to disperse. Everything is perfectly fine, there's no need to concern yourselves with anything, back in my day in chapter 14 of the ancient book of lore that was first discovered 543 years ago by the Nodalis themselves. Everything's fine. It's so fine, I rolled a 20. Critical rambling.
Everyone is like, what is he saying? And everyone's like, "That sounds good to me, I guess."
Roldar suddenly looks a bit defensive. He's like,
Wait a minute. Why do I feel shielded for some reason?
And yes, the Saloro's arcane mutterings is enough to sort of disperse the crowd. And,
well, he's on the case. I don't know why I can't argue with that. I guess we should leave you. He talked about the glassworks at one point, too. I was so worried and concerned about what happened that he showed up. And, look at Heinrich. If we look at him. All right, let's go back to eating bread. I'm sure he'll take care of it. Let's go. Have fun. Good day, Mr. Soreasu.
Hemlock throws him a look. It's like, whoa, that was sure something. Maybe I should try to learn some books or something. He shrugs.
Soloro shrugs as well. Realizes that everyone is in a special place now. Rides up, dismounts Heinrich. I said dismount! Damn it, horsey. There we go. He's like, no, I'm coming along too, damn it.
The mill, as far as you can discern, is a well-built wooden structure with very thick walls. The roof is of wooden shingles, and doors are simple timber and unlocked. The mill machinery seems to have been disengaged. Although not broken, merely just stopped for the occasion, most likely. Stepping in, Sheriff Hemlock sort of joins the party and indicates it seems that whatever it was happened upstairs, and he points up a small set of stairs that seem to lead up to sort of the upper tier of the mill. And down below, and he indicates to a stair leading down, well, there are two bodies in all, as I said. We have a man on the top floor, and we are pretty sure that he is Harker, the owner and the proprietor of the mill. There's not much left of him, however, so it's hard to say. But his partner, so to speak, Ebor Thorn, recognizes a tattoo he had, and so we have been able to identify the body that way. He points down. Down there is, well, we think it is Catherine Vinder, a daughter to one of the local shopkeepers. She apparently had some sort of relationship with this Harker at the mill here, even though that her father never approved of it. He indicates, well, if you have any questions now, I can answer them or try to. Otherwise, I leave you to try to take a look around to see what you can find.
What's her father's name, Sheriff?
Her father's name is Van Vinder. He flew into a rage when I approached him earlier this morning to inform him that his daughter was dead. And I'm afraid to say we had to restrain him. He was shrieking about killing and murdering anyone who did this, and that he would wring their necks and some other unsavory things like that. He has a bit of a hot temper, and we had to sadly subdue him. He is currently in custody at the city garrison.
An unfortunate necessity, but an understandable outburst. It is possible I will be able to try to ease him enough to make sense of whether he knew of anyone in particular who would see his daughter dead, or whether he had any family enemies of his own who may have done such a thing.
Hemlock nods. You are welcome to visit him. I will arrange for it.
Of course, Soloro's not the best at connecting with people. As it turns out, a lot of tension and anger can be diffused whenever you talk about the arcane fracture of the 17th planar lane of astral powerings.
just anger just dissipates. It's like, what?
And then, you know, with the confusion, there creates a welter of weakness, which Soloro then strikes at, like, oh, well, you see, what happened was... it all seems so infinitesimal in the face of what you've just described, Soloro. I will tell you everything.
Precisely.
You did a good job, Vinvender. You did a good job.
Erevan will examine the building. Is there any, like, I guess the corpses are on different floors, so...
Yes, there is one on the top floor and one in the basement.
And we are still outside waiting for something to happen.
Well, the sheriff opened up the door and basically has beckoned you to
Go
go.
in and explore it as we were told we could do. Don't be shy.
Yeah, I guess Erevan will go inside and he'll start by checking the upstairs.
Arenoss will follow.